National Cybercrime Investigation Agency, NCCI, has arrested 5 people and 4 workers at mobile phone franchises for their alleged involvement in an illegal SIM issuance network operating in Lahore. The raid was carried out on the instructions of Muhammad Ali Wazim after the Pakistan Telecommunication Authority lodged a complaint and gathered technical evidence linking the suspects to the scheme. Investigators.
Train services on the Attock-Mari-Indus-Multan railway section were temporarily suspended on Friday after heavy rainfall triggered a landslide between Jamaat and Chab railway stations in Attock's Jan Tehsil in Punjab, blocking the track and leaving passengers stranded. According to an official of the track maintenance department, mud and debris fell onto the track following the downpour, prompting authorities to suspend train services as a precautionary measure. One train was reportedly stranded near tunnel number 129, while the 202 up passenger train was halted at Jamaat railway station.
The US government says it will stop funding programs in South Africa intended to tackle the spread of HIV and AIDS, linking the decision to the government's alleged failure to protect the white minority Afrikaner community. South Africa's health ministry responded by saying that though it had not been informed of this decision, it had long been working on a self-reliance plan.
2 men have been jailed over a series of arson attacks targeting property belonging to British Prime Minister Keir Starmer. The pair, Ukrainian-born Roman Lavrinovich, 22, and Stanislav Karpiuk, 27, were offered money to carry out the attacks by a Russian-speaking figure using the name El Money via messaging app Telegram, according to prosecutors. Artificial intelligence education now starts at the age of 6 in China. The Ministry of Education has rolled out new guidelines to teach AI at every grade level. For President Xi Jinping, AI is a priority. Will the toddlers of today be the tech titans of the future? This is a story from the archives. This originally aired on September 18, 2025. None of the dates, titles or other references from that time have been changed.
Diplomatic row between United States President Donald Trump and Italian Prime Minister Giorgia Meloni has escalated, with Italy's top diplomat cancelling an upcoming visit to the US. At issue is Trump's claim that Meloni begged him for a photograph during the Group of 7 G7 meeting in France earlier in the week.
Over the last several years, fusion power has gone from the butt of jokes, always a decade away, to an increasingly tangible and tantalizing technology that has drawn investors off the sidelines. The technology may be challenging to master and expensive to build today, but fusion promises to harness the nuclear reaction that powers the sun to generate nearly limitless energy here on Earth. If startups are able to complete commercially viable fusion power plants, then they have the potential to upend trillion-dollar markets.
The Capital Development Authority, CDA, has abolished more than 20,900 vacant and redundant positions as part of the federal government's right-sizing initiative aimed at reducing costs and improving efficiency in public sector organizations. The decision was approved during the 7th CDA board meeting held on June 8 and formally notified by the Human Resource Development Directorate on June 11.
United States Vice President J.D. Vance is poised to take on his biggest role yet on the international stage as President Donald Trump's chief negotiator to end the 3-month war with Iran, a moment that could shape Vance's prospects as a White House successor. The two nations agreed to a provisional peace agreement on Wednesday that suspended hostilities but left core issues unresolved, deferring decisions on Iran's nuclear program, its support for regional groups, and the economically vital Strait of Hormuz to 60 days of talks. Prime Minister Shehbaz Sharif, following a phone conversation with Saudi Crown Prince Mohammed bin Salman, said the two leaders agreed that the next phase of Iran-US negotiations must be guided by a firm commitment to dialogue and diplomacy and vigilance against any attempt to undermine the peace process. On Thursday, A long-awaited peace deal was finally signed between the United States and Iran after a preliminary agreement was reached between the two sides earlier in the week, heralding an end to the bitter animosity that has afflicted the Middle East for months. Italy reacted angrily on Friday after reported comments by US President Donald Trump mocking Prime Minister Giorgia Meloni, with the foreign minister cancelling a planned US visit. Meloni said she was frankly stunned by Trump's comments to Italian channel La 7.
As a barrage of Ukrainian drones descended on Moscow in the early hours of Thursday, Russia's response appeared more like a scramble and less like a well-planned strategic defense. Videos from the streets of the capital showed glimpses of the ensuing chaos. Footage verified by CNN and analysed by experts shows soldiers firing portable, shoulder-mounted air defense systems from a busy highway as traffic cautiously passes by. People run for safety as a drone, probably down by Russian air defences, plummets into a building in a sprawling marketplace.
The embankment was barely a sliver, wedged between lanes of traffic in the southern town of San Jose del Guaviare, Colombia. But on a recent June evening, in spite of the drizzle and dark, the grassy strip was packed with a jubilant chaos.
Months of Ukrainian strikes on Russia's oil infrastructure have led to widespread fuel rationing, with Russian President Vladimir Putin now unable to mask the war's economic effects. The Russian petrol shortages come amid other good news for Ukraine, which during the past week garnered €4 billion, 4.6 B, and new military aid commitments from its allies for anti-ballistic operotals, long-range artillery and unmanned systems.
Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu has restrained himself from openly displaying his opposition to the Memorandum of Understanding between Iran and the United States. But looking to the positions of Israelis from across the political spectrum and the military's actions in Lebanon, the picture is clear. Israel is angry and Israel is worried. Netanyahu has always been careful with US President Donald Trump, knowing that his occasional criticisms of Israeli policy have been coupled with allowing Israel to pursue many of its military and political goals, even as the rest of the world isolates the country. The war with Iran was case in point. After years of US refusal, Netanyahu had finally convinced a US president to jointly attack Iran.
Germany versus Ivory Coast. What FIFA World Cup 2026 Group E match where Toronto Stadium, Toronto, Canada, when Saturday, 4 a.m. 20 Canada. How to follow. Keep up with all updates on Al Jazeera Sport, one of the most mouth-watering matches in the second round of games in the World Cup 2026 group stage sees four-time champions, Germany facing a talented Ivory Coast outfit in Toronto on Saturday evening.
Israel has continued to attack Lebanon after the new ceasefire with Hezbollah took effect, raising fears that Tel Aviv is trying to wreck the fragile agreement tied to wider efforts to end Middle East hostilities. On Friday, officials and diplomats from the United States and the Gulf separately told news agencies that the two sides agreed that a ceasefire would start at 4 p.m. local time, 1300 GMT.
As India searches for a homegrown contender in the global artificial intelligence race, billionaire Mukesh Ambani is positioning Reliance Industries as a national champion, rolling out AI services for phone calls, mobile apps and connected homes. At its annual shareholder meeting on Friday, the Mumbai-based conglomerate announced Geo Call Agent, an AI assistant that can join phone calls to transcribe conversations, generate summaries, and perform tasks such as booking cabs, ordering food and making reservations. The service, which can be activated by saying "Hey Geo," is expected to launch later this year for Geo's more than 500 million users.
Loading the player, just as last week was ending, the US government forced Anthropic to pull its two newest models, Fable 5 and Mythos 5, citing national security concerns after Amazon researchers allegedly found a way to bypass Fable 5's guardrails.
Adobe is adding AI assistants to Photoshop, Premiere, and several other Creative Cloud applications to help users complete repetitive multi-step tasks more quickly. Users can describe the result they want, and the software can handle tasks such as organizing footage, resizing images, preparing layouts, and producing rough video cuts.
An inquiry conducted by the Sindh Chief Minister's inspection team has found financial irregularities worth more than $8.5 billion in Karachi's Bus Rapid Transit (BRT) Yellow Line project. The inquiry was ordered by Chief Minister Murad Ali Shah following allegations of financial mismanagement exceeding $8 billion in the Transport Department. The inspection team, headed by Bilal Memon, has completed its preliminary investigation and submitted recommendations to the Chief Minister.
Punjab Health Minister Khawaja Salman Rafiq on Friday announced that nursing universities would be established in Lahore, Rawalpindi and Multan as part of efforts to strengthen nursing education and improve healthcare services in the province. Speaking at a World Play Day event at the University of Child Health Sciences, US, the minister said the Punjab government had doubled nursing admissions from 3,000 to 6,000 and upgraded nursing colleges across the province.
Gilgit-Baltistan Supreme Appellate Court Chief Justice Sardar Mohammad Shamim Khan suspended the election results in 3 constituencies on Friday, while consolidated results for another, GBA 16, could not be issued despite an order from the GB Chief Election Commissioner, CEC. The election process has been delayed since June 7, prolonging the formation of the GB government.
A 6-year-old Ebola patient who Congolese authorities were searching for after armed men stormed the hospital where she was being treated has been found and is doing well. A local health official has told the BBC. On Wednesday, Dr. Lubambo Maboho Gaston said that a girl and her mother had been taken by very angry men from a hospital in the eastern city of Butembo 2 days previously.
Israeli Foreign Minister Gideon Saar said this week he would suspend contact with the European Union's foreign policy chief, Kaja Kallas, over reports that she compared Israel's treatment of Palestinians with South Africa's former apartheid system. The diplomatic row follows reports by European news outlet Euractiv that Kallas made the remarks during high-level talks with Mexican officials in May. Citing unnamed officials, the outlet reported that the EU diplomat privately likened Israel's policies in Gaza and the occupied West Bank to the racial segregation regime that ruled South Africa until the mid-1990s.
It is not another anonymously sourced report about a rift between the United States and Israel. This time, the administration of President Donald Trump appears genuinely frustrated with Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu's war in Lebanon. The opening of the Memorandum of Understanding, MOU, between the US and Iran calls for the permanent termination of military operation, but the Israelis are not stopping their attacks in the country. Say, and not stopping their attacks in the country.
Washington, D.C., United States President Donald Trump has struck out at critics of a memorandum of understanding signed by Washington and Tehran to end the US-Israeli war with Iran. The statements on Friday, a continuation of Trump's defense of the deal to end the war launched by the US and Israel on February 28, came a day after US Vice President J.D. Vance cancelled begin negotiation to Switzerland on a host of entrenched issues as outlined in the MOU.
Few leadership initiatives can claim the longevity, influence and international reach of the Commonwealth Study Conferences, founded in 1956 by His Royal Highness Prince Philip, Duke of Edinburgh. The programme was built on a simple but powerful idea, that leaders from different sectors, professions, challenge assumptions and better understand the societies they serve.
7 historic antiquities recovered by Italian authorities have been returned to Pakistan and arrived in Islamabad, marking another milestone in cultural cooperation between the two countries. According to the Pakistani embassy, The artifacts were recovered by Italy's Guardia di Finanza and were formally handed over to the Consulate General of Pakistan in Milan in April. After completing the required procedures, the items were transported to Islamabad and officially received on Thursday.
Honor has introduced the Honor 600 Smart, which carries the largest battery in the Honor 600 series outside China. The phone also features a large 6.87-inch display, a durable body and a dedicated AI button.